Britain's millionaires are on the move. As uncertainty clouds London's business climate, a new destination is emerging, Abu Dhabi, where capital, technology and ambition meet. So while new tax plans and shifting regulations in countries like the United Kingdom are making entrepreneurs feel cautious, here in Abu Dhabi, the government is really rolling out the red carpet and looking to work with private enterprise. Now, they've created 13 new economic clusters, ranging from everything from autonomous transport to artificial intelligence. There's a health cluster, and there's also an agriculture and food cluster. To find out more about that, I spoke to Fatma Al-Dakhri. She is the head of the Agua cluster, which falls under the Abu Dhabi Investment Office.
Our aim is to diversify Abu Dhabi's economy by attracting pioneers in the food and water space, whether it's alternative proteins, agtech, water technologies, to come and set up their operations here in Abu Dhabi with a target of contributing to Abu Dhabi's GDP 90 billion dirhams by 2045 and creating more than 60,000 jobs by then as well. We're actually excited to be here as part of the Global Food Week, where it's our first event as part of showcasing alternative proteins, which we've called POLT, standing for Protein Alternatives. And we have several international exhibitors that are the pioneers in this field. We've also brought in a lot of international and local experts to talk about the topic of alternative proteins, whether it's fermented, plant-based, or cultivated. So in the hopes of connecting them to the ecosystem and creating partnerships out of this amazing event.
Among them, the British billionaire Jim Mellon. Now, he made his fortune spotting global trends early. Now he's betting big on the science of longevity and the new revolution in food. This year, Jim's UK-based biotech firm Juvenescence joined forces with Abu Dhabi's healthcare giant M42, a deal that will combine British biotech with Emirati AI expertise to speed up research into life-extending medicines and therapies. It's all part of a wider vision, one that sees Abu Dhabi as no longer just a place where investors come to raise capital, but where they come to build it.
The government is forward-thinking. I think we know that, and for instance, in longevity, we've done a partnership with M42, which is the local healthcare system, as you're aware, and our longevity company is developing drugs with them. So we already have that experience. Secondly, there is capital here, but I equally think there's very good returns here. So foreign investors, such as myself, will be putting money alongside Abu Dhabi in building the relevant plants here, because I want to make returns of my money, and I'm not just looking for a handout from the government. So myself will be investing quite heavily alongside in this new plant here in Abu Dhabi.
Mellon also runs New Agrarian. Now, that's an investment vehicle aimed at transforming the way the world eats. Its portfolio includes Meatly, pet food made from cultivated meat, and All G, which produces milk proteins without cows.
So 90% of Food Plus is imported into Abu Dhabi and the UAE generally. But now with science and technology, there's an opportunity to actually produce food without having to farm it in a conventional way, which is really not suited to Abu Dhabi because of the climate and because of the lack of water. So we can produce, for instance, dairy proteins, egg proteins, some forms of beef, some forms of fish here in labs that are bio-identical to the foods that you buy in the supermarket. In fact, better than the foods that you buy in the supermarket, possibly, and with a very low environmental impact, and provide food security for this country and for Abu Dhabi in particular at the same price as conventionally farmed foods are made.
Abu Dhabi's strategy is clear: to lead in sectors where AI, sustainability and human health converge, and to therefore build both prosperity and a knowledge economy. For investors like Jim Mellon, the Gulf is no longer the end of the fundraising road. It is a laboratory for the future.
One of the reasons is obviously the current government in the UK has made rich people somewhat unwelcome, and especially with their taxation policies. So I think that's a major factor. The second thing is that the infrastructure here is now so much better than it was 20 or 30 years ago, so that people can adapt to the lifestyle. And then the third is that they're very welcome here. So I think there is an exodus of sorts, but I don't think it's necessarily as big as some people would say. But there's a lot of synergy between Abu Dhabi and the UK. Life sciences investment going both directions, lots of cultural connection. So I think it can only be a good thing that there are more Brits living here, but vice versa, I think there's a lot of activity from here into the UK. So I heard the other day that, for instance, London property prices are flatlined for about 10 years, and the big buyers are from the UAE now. So it works both ways.
And as Britain debates its next budget, the smart money and perhaps the prospect of a longer life may already be in Abu Dhabi. This is Georgia Tolley reporting from Global Food Week down here in Abu Dhabi for the Business Breakfast.